Winston Peters they're going to be arguing very strongly that the government can't just let the dairying industry default on this. And of course, there are many business allies in provincial New Zealand and towns who are deeply reliant on the success of the dairying industry. And they rewarded National with overwhelming support at the last election. So if you don't do something, then Winston Peters will offer that if he's in government, he certainly will.
I mean, he's 10% in our latest poll. Mid-cycle for Winston Peters, very strong numbers, and you've got to think he is making gains in the regions. He is identified with Northland, identified as being able to get gains when you think back to Tauranga and getting bridges and these sorts of things.
Yeah, but he's Winston Peters, he's not like everyone
but this
else.
is a real threat, I think, to Labour as well, because he seems to be cornering this regional area, and I think you're going to have to see National in this budget come up with some sort of regional package. The timing is this year, isn't it, surely?
Yes, otherwise what happens is rural discontent begins to grow, and those seats are never going to swing to Labour in large numbers. Well, what it means is that New Zealand First will begin to eat away at National support. And given the the poor performance of some of the small support parties that National currently has, increasingly they will have to look to Winston Peters at the next election if they're going to go back into government.
It'd be fair to say, wouldn't it, since the change of leadership both with the Māori Party and the Green Party, they've struggled to really get a toehold in, whereas, as you say, Winston Peters has just been climbing on up that ladder.
Yeah, they have struggled a little bit. I mean, Russell Norman was a big loss for them in many ways. He was very good at capturing the media and the sound bites and getting into arguments with the government and engaging them. So James Shaw's a little bit more standoffish. I don't think he's performed badly in any way, but I think it's a lot harder for them. And there's this competition now between New Zealand First and the Greens. Labour, I mean, what's to stop Labour thinking they'll cozy up perhaps more with New Zealand First than the Greens? We just assume that there'll be this left bloc. But
well, that's right. I mean, it puts Winston in a very strong bargaining position. And of course, you've got to bear in mind that at this stage in the electoral cycle, all small parties do poorly in polls. Well, what is the exception this time is Winston at 10%. And that, at this stage in the electoral cycle, is pretty impressive.
Okay, quickly, I want to get on, because we just heard from